just wanna see if you gon' lie, you gon' love me. I was getting bras way before I got the money. Honey, since I've been a star, they don't love me. The ceiling got stars when the star got no ceiling. Stick it out, poke it out, stick it out, poke it out. Yeah, yeah, she got a little butt, so what? Big bag, she can show enough. Stick it out, poke it out, yeah, stick it out, poke it out. My regards to the bras, they thought I was done. Pick a side.
What's going on, fellas and ladies? Literally, how's everyone doing? My apologies for last week, but jumping right into this, doing a week 7 recap. Got a lot of housekeeping stuff to kind of take care of really quickly before I jump into it. But first and foremost, it wouldn't make sense if I didn't start off by acknowledging our weekly high score for the week, which is Ian, who's sitting at an impressive 6-1, by the way, atop of the standings. So want to shout him out, one, for getting weekly high scores, and two, for now being the sole person in first place. So shout outs to Ian. Then get into this knockout pool. I actually got a suggestion for Phil, and I'm going to post it up somewhere on the website, on the homepage, who's remaining in the knockout pool. Right now, Lloyd joins the likes of Kevin, who's knocked out week 1. I was knocked out week 2. Jose was knocked out week 3. Ant was knocked out week 4. Arisu was knocked out week 5. Greg Mars was knocked out week 6. And the fact that he questioned he was knocked out week 6 is... But anyway, he was knocked out week 6, and now Lloyd joins me. Lloyd joins us in the knockout pool. So what I'm going to do is, at some point, I'm going to post it up. I'm also going to share in the chat in terms of who's remaining in the knockout pool. Few folks left with a few weeks left to go. So interesting battle that I'm not a part of, but going to continue to watch it. Jumping right into last week's recap, I think it's only right that I start off with, I think, was the battle of the week, by the way. It was battle of the year so far. You had two teams who were 5-1 going out against each other between Lloyd and Ian. Ian demolished Lloyd, and again, not a likely showing for Lloyd in this league. Considering I think he's won like weekly high score like 3 or 4 weeks so far out of 7. So like again, no lightweight from Lloyd whatsoever, but demolished Lloyd almost by double digits. Almost by double the amount, I should say. It definitely was double digits. With Lloyd actually getting the lowest score for the whole entire league last week. Score was 180.54 to 95.94. Looking at Lloyd's team, Mike Davis gave him 1. Mark Ingram gave him 5.7. St. Brown gave him 0. Howard gave him 1.9. I mean, ugh. He did have Darren Waller on out. He also had Keenan Allen on bye. And then that was really it. Oh, and Emmanuel Sanders. And also he had Kareem Hunt hurt. So, sorry about that. That's a tough loss for Lloyd. Not really much that he could have played, honestly, but yeah, not much he could have played. Again, if anyone's looking for a quarterback, I would highly hit Lloyd up because he has Brady and he also has Matthew Stafford. But that's just me. If there are anybody out there who wants to partake in conversations with him. Jumping over to Ian's team, crazy part is Ian scored the weekly high score of 180.54. He actually had a negative on his active roster. So he had negative 0.2 from A.J. Dillon. He had 3.2 from Tyler Lockett. So it just shows you like he could have had a crazier week, but he had Joe Burrow give him 32. He had Jamar Chase give him 34. The Packers defense gave him 22. That's fucking insane. Anytime a defense gives you double digit, I think it's a great day. 20 plus, that's insane. Looking at his bench, he had absolutely nothing on his bench. He does have CEH and he had George Kittle on IR, but nothing else that he could have played to help really supplement the situation. Really just strong performance by Ian. Tough loss for Lloyd. Jumping over, you have Gregory Mars against Aricio. Gregory falls to 3-4. Aricio goes up to 3-4, 121.36 to 117.24. Looking at Greg, Antonio Gibson played but only gave him 7.6. Allen Robinson, I have Allen Robinson in another league. I don't even know what to do with this dude at this point. Gave him 3.6. Fucking crazy, man. And it's crazy because he's always had bad quarterbacks. And everyone was like, oh, like he's actually going to have his best quarterback he's ever played with Fields, and he's going to have his most productive year. Bullshit. Looking at Greg's bench, he did have Amari Cooper. He also had Mike Williams all on bye. Samaje Perine game 14.5. He has Nick Chubb that's currently out. Not really else that he could have really done, but I mean, he did have a lot of people that were out and also on bye. Jumping over to a Ricio's team, he started starting Michelle game 0.4. Brandon Cooks only gave him 7.1. His defense gave him 4. His kicker gave him 2. Nothing. He had a bunch of buys. James Robinson, Dante Johnson, and that's really it. He does have McCaffrey still out, so huge win for A Research just to stay within contention at 3 and 4 at this point. Moving over to Keith, who, by the way, everybody's been shitting on Keith on chat. I shouldn't say everybody, it's really been Kit, but we're just going to say everybody because I don't want to say names. Kit. This dude started off 0-3, Keith. Like, started off 0-3. He's now on a 4-game winning streak to be 4-3. And again, he beat Phil, who's no slouch. Phil falls to 3 and 4, 159.68 to 128.94. Looking at Phil's team, he had Marquise Callaway gave him 6.2 in that terrible Monday Nighter. Alex Collins only gave him 5.4. Looking at his bench, he did have Eckler, he did have Thielen, he did have Marvin Jones, all on bye. So tough one for Phil. Moving over to Keith, who again one of the highest teams in the league. CJ Uzomah, like from the tight end from the Cincinnati Bengals, gave him 24. Mike Evans gave him 31. Deebo Samuel gave him 21. He had Khalif Raymond give him 17.6. If I'm Phil, I'm sick. Not because of the fact that like he lost to Keith. I mean, Keith has again been one of the hottest teams, but like it's a lineup that Keith did it with. Like it was like the Bad News Bears all collected into one group, and just all hit lightning. Honestly, looking at his bench, he does have Saquon Barkley currently out. Josh Allen was on bye, but that really was it. But so again, huge win from Keith. I mean, on a bye, like he played a lot of bye week players. Like Ronald Jones, he played a 4.3, even though I told you Ronald Jones ain't shit, even on a bye. But huge win for him in terms of Keith on a bye, and again stays one of the hottest teams in the league on a 4-game winning streak. Jumping over to Kevin, gets his first fucking win. Let's go, Kevin. I told you, man. Don't play with these Hortons, man. They ain't here to play with y'all. Come on, Kev, man. Goes to 1-6. So him and Kerry collectively have one win, 159.28 to 118.74. Looking at Jose's team, who was last week's weekly high score, Aaron Jones gave him 8.9. Chuba Hubbard gave him 9.6. Tim Patrick gave him 3.6. Defense gave him 3. On his bench, he did have CeeDee Lamb. Nothing else on his bench, honestly. Nothing else on his bench. Looking over at Kevin, who Matt Jones gave him 26. Damon Harris gave him 25. Ernest Johnson gave him 24.8. Shout out to Kev, man, because he put that money in for that boy Johnson, and he paid up, man. And then on his bench, he did have Dak Prescott, who he's not going to be silly. He's going to play Dak Prescott this week over Matt Jones, hopefully. He also has David Montgomery out currently on IR, so huge win for Kevin, showing us that, again, never give up. Shout out to him. Moving over to my other Horton. This one's my favorite Horton, too. Carrie, she loses to Ant, 153.78 to 119.04. Carrie's 0-7. Ant is now 4-3. Looking at Carrie's team, Miles Sanders gets hers 3.7. Henry Ruggs gave us 7.1. The Giants defense did give it 17. The Giants kicker also gave it 15. So shout out to Carrie for that one. Typically, I'm on here making fun of her defense and her kicker, especially when they're both Giants. But so shout out to her on that. Looking at her bench, I mean, she did have Diggs out, Claypool out, but really nothing else on her bench, honestly. Oh, Antonio Brown was out also. So moving over to Ant's situation. He played Felton at 5. He played at 6.4. Jacoby Myers gave him 9.4. He had Chris Godwin give him 25.1 though, and his kicker gave him 13. His defense only gave him 1. But he did have Justin Herbert. He had Laviska Shenault, and he had Zach Moss on bye, and he has Dawson Knox also out, and Chris Carlson also out. Damn, man, you have a lot of people out. But got the win to go to 4-3. Then moving over to, I guess, what was the most chatter on Sunday was between me and Kit. Shout out to Kit. He falls to 4-3. I go to 5-2. I beat Kit 141.22 to 128.78. Looking at Kit's team, Robbie Anderson, one of the jokes he said was Robbie Anderson was coming for me, but only gave 4.4. Julio gave 5.8, but he had Mike Gesicki giving 21.5. He had Dallas Goedert giving 12. Lamar Jackson gave only 25. He did have Zeke and Najee Harris on bye, by the way. So huge loss for Kit. Going over to my team, I had, and again, Kit made a comment on the chat, and I don't know if I caught it right, which is like, I beat him with my A team. I actually too had my top 2 picks actually out, similar to he did. I had Davon Cook, and I also had Justin Jefferson, both on bye. But looking at my active roster, Darrell Henderson only gave me 9.4. Darrell Mooney gave me 5.9. Noah Fant, the MVP, gave me 8.9. But DK Metcalf, man, really came through for me in this game. And Kit and I were going back and forth this morning about it. DK Metcalf, all I needed was 5 points from this guy. And he did it like one of the first offensive plays of the game. And that was it. Like, he had one more catch after that. So, Geno Smith, you suck as a Jet fan. I'm saying that to you. But also, like, you just suck, just in general. So that was really it in terms of my matchup with Kit. Good win by me. Shout out to Kit. Moving on to next week, you have Greg, who's 3-4, playing against Keith, who's 4-3. Keith's one of the hottest team. Greg is kind of slipping to 3-4. You have Avery Seals 3-4, playing against Kevin. Kevin now one of the hottest teams. He got a win. He's on a winning streak. Then you have Kit. I mean, you have Phil. Phil, who's 3-4, playing against Kerry, who's 0-7. This shit would be ironic if fucking Kerry beats Phil. We've been in the league for years, and Phil keeps the joke saying that Kerry's never beaten him before. So if Kerry were to win this week of all fucking years, being 0-7, this shit would be classical. Then you have Jose, who's 4-3, playing against Kit, who's 4-3. You have Ant, who is 4-3, playing against Ian, who's 6-1, who stays in first place by himself. And then you have me and Lloyd at 5-2. Both of us are currently right now tied for second place, gaining against each other. Lloyd, I don't know if you're trying to come here to the crib to take this L, but it should be interesting. On that note, I'm out.
Pick a side and dine a jump. I've been letting things slide, they trying too hard. Cause I ain't left the city once to travel abroad. Nigga, I'm back on my bar shit. The stick in the Honda Civic, we in the car service. I really just mind my business and pray that God sort them. Can't really be long-winded, you talking short money today, we not cost cutting. Can you stick it out? Told me she was quarantining, brand new titties out. And there might be a couple weeks to make them bitches bounce. So I mean it when I be like, what's the turn around? No, really, turn around. Okay, I just wanna see if you gon' lie, you gon' love me.